This is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a big thumbs up.
Evening, this always looked like being an entertaining Sunday, and so it proved. We'll see the Premier League's two high-scoring teams. Alan Shearer and Danny Murphy are with us, and we begin with Liverpool against the leaders Manchester City, both of whom have lit up the league this season.
Jürgen, wow, what an afternoon.
Yeah, different ways to watch the game. Eh? You can watch it as a manager, or you can watch it as a football fan. And I prefer really to look at it as a football fan. It's wow, what a game!
The news is after a lot of games is the first defeat. That is the the good news. The bad news is that we lost. So big congratulations for the Liverpool for the performance. We recovered good and we finished good the last 20-25 minutes, especially in the second half. We started real good, and the only action they had, we conceded a goal, and after we lose our little bit control. We cannot lose that situation because we can concede goals, but always we try to be stable, and we were not stable.
It's not the first time that the boys have sort of ran right for 5-10 minutes. We did it today, and ultimately that's obviously won us the game in the end. So it's important that we can have those spells, and at the same time, in the spells when Man City had the ball, we needed to see it out, and luckily in the end we managed to do that.
We will find somebody who will talk about the defense and say, well, no clean sheet or something like that. But yeah, he can blow up my boots. So no, really take your heart, throw it on the pitch, and play like both teams played tonight. And I really think that's it's a fair result.
He can blow up my boots. That's a new one. Thank you.
Well, nobody's going to blow up his boots here. You're going to be positive. As he said, if you're a football fan, you just go, wow. We're all football fans. And I think during the course of that game, we all went, wow.
It was incredible, and Jürgen Klopp deserves great credit for giving his team the freedom to play the way they do. He sticks by his principles, as does Pep as well. And that's what created such a wonderful game for us to watch. So much creativity, so many players expressing themselves. So they both deserve plaudits for that, the managers. And I'd just like to mention Oxlade-Chamberlain and Robertson. I thought for Liverpool, new players really had their best games in Liverpool shirt. But there were some terrific performances, and we thoroughly enjoyed the day watching it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It went at some lick, didn't it? That game?
It was just incredible. I mean, it was a magnificent game to watch. We were expecting a great game, and we were expecting goals, and it was all of that. But to play the way Liverpool did, you need energy, you need pace, you need legs all over the park, courage and belief. And Liverpool, as I said, they had all
running around.
Not at all headless. It is controlled. If one goes, another one backs him up. Another one backs him up as well. So they do it as a team. But as I said, to do that constantly, as they did for 90 minutes, and they do it very, very well at Anfield, you need energy, you need pace, you need legs in the team, and Liverpool had that today.
And Klopp chose the right personnel and formation to do that and give them that.
Wasn't it refreshing to see two teams think, you know what, we have belief in our ability, we're going to go head-to-head against each other, and we fancy our chances. We haven't witnessed that a lot this season, particularly against Manchester City.
Because City didn't change the way they've played all season because of what they faced from Liverpool.
Well, nor should they, because they've been absolutely brilliant at it, and that's why we've been talking about them. Became a weakness.
When you are careless, when you don't have anybody around you, from your experience, is that a tiredness? Is that expecting somebody to be near you, therefore getting rid of it? Or is it a relief that no one's near you and maybe a bit of complacency?
I think it's a mixture, but I think because Liverpool's incessant press and energy and willingness to get the ball back, when you do have a bit of time, you take it for granted you're going to play a good ball, and you just relax too much. The complacency sets in. But that's credit to Liverpool. But too many of the City players today, although they did do some brilliant things, were a bit below in terms of their care and their... Maybe it's just got too easy for them. Today was a challenge.
When you look at the games that City have played this year against the big 5 or 6, there's not one team that has pressed them as much and as high with the energy that Liverpool did today.
So that's the question now is, and you both know this is going to dominate the next week, can other teams do that to Manchester City? That's what people will be asking.
Not many teams can do that. I really don't think so, because not many teams have got the energy and the pace and the ability and the firepower that Liverpool have actually got to do that for 90 minutes. That takes some doing to do that. And then if the front three are doing it, then it's the guys behind them that are backing it up, and they did it for 90-odd minutes today, and they were brilliant at it. Could
other sides in the top 4, 5, 6 do it?
I think United have got the personnel to do it and didn't. I think Chelsea probably have. Maybe Tottenham with their full 11, but it takes bravery, and at home is probably the place to do it. And too many teams are fearful of City and their quality, and Liverpool weren't. Great belief, that's what won them the game. And Liverpool apparently have just sold their best player to Barcelona.
And didn't have £75 million defender as well.
Yeah, very true.
But that just shows you, doesn't it? I mean, OK, Coutinho's a good player, but he wasn't missed today.
Bournemouth against Arsenal, who travelled without their highest profile player in the squad.
But when you can do it against the bigger clubs, then that makes all the difference. So we knew today was an opportunity for us if we played well. It was a tight game, wasn't a lot in it. Both teams, I thought, gave a lot to the match. Thankfully, we showed, again, their spirit and desire to come back from a losing position. That bodes very well for us.
We were 1-0 up, looked in control, and suddenly we lost 2 goals. You don't know where they come from, basically. And it's very, very frustrating. You come up, go in the dressing room, you have lost a game, but you don't know really where you've lost it. But overall, we have to look at it in a very objective and harsh way. We made mistakes that you cannot afford at that level, and overall, from upstairs, we did not create enough chances as well.
Obviously, when you're playing the top teams, you've obviously got to back yourself at home. The boys have done that today, and we made a little bit of history by beating Arsenal for the first time.
Yeah, you did it the hard way.
Yeah, we always like to do it the hard way, it seems. We've been behind recently in the last few games, and we've showed great character to get back in the game. We've done that today and managed to get the 3 points as well.
No Alexis Sanchez today. I presume he was available should you have chosen to bring him?
We didn't know, it was a very vague situation, and half in, half out. So at the end of the day, you never know. This kind of situation could have, during the transfer period, anything can happen any moment, any minute. So that's why I decided wanted players who are focused on just on the game.
Does it mean that you think that his situation will be resolved very quickly now?
Yes.
And do you know where he will be ending up?
No, I don't know.
Let's start with Bournemouth before we get on to the Sanchez soap opera and Arsenal. So they're undefeated in 5 now in all competitions. When you watch them, do they look a bit more settled than earlier in the season? Are there combinations that are now starting to work for Eddie Howe's side?
Yeah, they're better. They've got a better energy about them. It gives them another dimension to that, because King's been missing, who was their top scorer last year.
And if you have a 3 like that, it doesn't leave your front man as isolated as maybe they are when they're on their own, which is obvious.
But more importantly for Ibe is it means that he doesn't have to track fullbacks all the way back, because he's got a wing back there and he can go inside and get closer to the goal, and I thought that was evident today.
So Arsene Wenger in our interviews there said he went into the dressing room and they didn't know where they lost it.
Well, he didn't watch the same game that we were watching, because that's as poor a performance from an Arsenal team with the ball and without the ball that I've seen from for a long time. Double performance and from a lot of Arsenal players there. Jack Wilshere, I thought, as Danny has mentioned, he was the one highlight. He played very well. Other than that, it's an unacceptable performance from Arsenal Football Club.
No Sanchez, no Ozil. Arsene Wenger said afterwards in the press conference that Sanchez could have gone yesterday. He could go in the next 48 hours. It may be a brutal question, I don't know. But without Sanchez and without Ozil, are they an average team plus Jack Wilshere?
Yeah, and if they're not careful, they'll lose him as well, because he's going to be out of contract. And when he's fit and playing like he is, he's their best midfielder by a mile. He's probably England's best midfielder when he's playing like he is at the moment in the team. And they might lose him as well. So they've got to be very careful, because Sanchez and Ozil are going to go. And I don't understand, after Van Persie went to United and won them the league, and they let Fabregas go, how they keep letting their players get to this situation. The club seems all over the place, like their performances.
For all the great work that Arsene has done for Arsenal financially over the years, a lot of that could be undone in the next 4 or 5 months. How on earth you can let 3 players get to the end of the contract who can leave for nothing if they get 30 million for Sanchez, they might get that. They're losing 50 or 60, should have sold him a year ago, because the current market value is about £90 million. Ozil, the end of his contract, what's he worth? £50 million?
Yeah.
Jack Wilshere, 20 or 30? You're talking the best part of £150 million you could lose for nothing. So not only are you losing that, you've also got to replace them with another £150 million. So for Arsenal to be in the position they are now, you understand if one player gets to the end of the contract, but three. You look at it, you think, is it mismanagement or is it misplaced loyalty on Arsene Wenger's behalf, thinking that the players might actually change their mind and stay?
A lot of this can feel like Groundhog Day, so you may not be able to answer this. What is the solution to Arsenal's woes?
Well, they need a new manager who's going to change things and create some discipline at that club, because they play with no discipline. And there has to be repercussions for bad performances. And there isn't, from what I'm understanding. And you can't play 1 week well and look like a team that's on the up and then play like they did today, because that was embarrassing. And there's too many of them who don't really care because there aren't any repercussions. And subconsciously, when you play in that environment, that's what happens.
I've asked this before, but for all the criticism Wenger gets, should the criticism also go to the club's hierarchy? Because they are, to all intents and purposes, allowing an employee to decide when he leaves a job. And that doesn't necessarily, well, very rarely happens in any walk of life.
No, absolutely. I couldn't add anything to exactly what you've just said then. I don't think it has ever happened at a football club where a manager decides the contract, the manager decides when it's time to go.
But he's made them millions,
really
that's part of it.
But I go back to my point, what I just said before, that a lot of that could all be undone in between now and the end of the season.
No,
if those players leave for nothing.
Both your reaction to the news, it looks like Ryan Giggs will be confirmed as Wales manager tomorrow at a press conference.
Well, I think he's been after a job for a while, so it's good for him that he's got something to get his teeth into and transfer all that amazing experience he's had in the game. He'll help the young lads, I'm sure, but it's obviously a difficult one because it's his first job in management, isn't it?
It'd be interesting to see how he gets the players to turn up for friendlies, wouldn't it? When he made his debut in '91, I think it was, in the qualifier, he didn't play in a friendly for 9 years, I think, until 2000. So good luck trying to get the players together.
Here's one about your analysis as well tonight. Jacob says, when you're talking about how Liverpool were in midfield today, do you think, as regards pressing with more purpose, they're better off without Coutinho in a midfield three?
So, yeah, if you were playing Manchester City to play that way, all three of your midfielders have got to have the legs and the tenacity to get about, so yes.
I think from what Liverpool, we've witnessed what they can do, certainly at Anfield, and they're a very, very difficult team to break down and certainly to beat it at Anfield. They've now got to take that form from Anfield into their away games and not concede goals also.
Yeah, that is right, bang on. And it's hard because you've got the fans behind you giving you the encouragement and momentum to get after teams at Anfield. But it'll be interesting to see how they do adapt without Coutinho now and see who they sign.
OK.
How much do you think Mahrez is worth?
In today's market, at least £1 trillion.
No. Honestly, seriously, how much do you think?
No, at least 50. You know what, Robbie? With all it's silly money, Robbie.
I'd say 70. I'd say 70 to 75.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's silly money, though, isn't it? 50 to 75 million. It's crazy money, though, Robbie. It shouldn't be allowed, mate. It shouldn't be allowed. But today, he's put in a performance. He's put a few performances in lately. He has got some great skill. And, you know, with some of the teammates around him, he looks good and he makes the team look better. And, yes, in another team, whether it be Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Man U, of course he's going to look good. But he's not for sale. He's not going anywhere.
Do you remember when Marseille were in the hunt for Riyad Mahrez? They thought they would land him for 26 million quid in the January transfer window. So it was that link with Marseille.
Worth, Jay, no.
I'd say 50 at least.
I say 75.
75?
Oh, hang on. Van Dijk's gone for 75 million. He's a defender.
Yeah.
Mahrez was the PFA Player of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2
He's
years
won
ago.
the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
so why would he not be 75? And the hardest thing to do is create chances and score goals.
No,
and
you make a
that.
good point. Yeah, but I reckon 75.
Yeah, what I've said, 75. You've gone
that's
75.
That is a lot for Riyad Mahrez. I think he's more like the £50 million mark.
Don't forget to click subscribe.